Hello and welcome back to Real Chalk. I am Sam
I'm Jamie.
and we have Connor.
Hello, I'm still here.
Oh, hello Connor.
Yeah, haven't been fired yet.
It's
And you've got
pending.
your new equipment this week as well.
Yeah, finally got it back. That took a while. Brexit has really messed things up. I don't know if you've had any deliveries delayed, but yeah,
Deliveries delayed. No.
yeah,
You know,
Brexit is really.
Haven't
It
ordered
does. It
anything.
takes ages to get stuff. You're right.
Anyways, enough about the equipment. What are we talking about this week?
So this week we are going to touch on some of our kind of first sponsors and maybe getting some sponsors in CrossFit. Also, an open prep camp that we're doing. We might kick off with that.
Yeah.
And then we'll see where we go.
See
from
where
there.
we go, I guess. Yeah. We'll stick on the clock, sure.
Yeah, let's hit it off. 10-second countdown before we kick off.
Oh, nerves.
So this year's the first year that
It always happens, doesn't it?
always happens. Those 10 seconds are such an awkward 10 seconds. You don't know what to
Yeah.
do. I think the silence is worse than being interrupted, though. We
Yeah.
can't just
It'd
sit
be
there
weird
quiet.
if we just did 10 seconds of silence before
Yeah.
every bit.
Maybe we should add that in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this year, first year, we are running the open prep camp. So obviously, Sam's here training in C2F, which is great. Adds a bit more of a competitive element for both of us. But I know that every year I'm always eager to see kind of the training think tank, the program, Sam's tips when you used to do them over in CrossFit Ireland. Like everyone has open tips in between every workout, and I think no matter what level you're at, you always want to get the very best performance. You want to hear those kind of inside tips.
Yeah.
So this year we decided we're going to run an open prep camp. So basically what that is, we're starting this week. So you're going to miss week one, which is
Yes.
not
It's
ideal.
it's starting tomorrow, essentially.
Yes. No, it's starting tomorrow, but what we're going to do is we're going to be recording every session so you can pick up from wherever. And what it is on every Friday at 1:15 we're going to run a Zoom call. On this, it's going to be Sam and Filippo Darley and myself.
Yeah.
And we're all going to run a chat on each topic. So say, for example, this topic is going to be...
First topic's goal setting. So
Yeah.
that's going to be recorded if you're missing it. But the first live one you could get in on is next week's nutrition one.
Yeah, exactly. And what we're going to be doing, for example, is say the goal setting. We're going to say, where are you? And we'll send out a PDF beforehand so you know exactly what we're going to be talking about. And there's going to be a few kind of questions for you to answer so you can have a real think of where you want to be. So the goal setting will ask you, where do you want to place? Whether it's you want to place top 50 in Ireland, you want to qualify into the second stage, the quarterfinals, or you're just doing it for enjoyment. Because each week we'll be talking then about, say, the nutrition you want for, like whether you need to change your diet if you're trying to move into the next stage, or if you're just doing it for a bit of crack, maybe that doesn't matter, but you might want to just change your diet slightly in the night before the workout.
Yeah.
And then when it pulls into the open, that's kind of the main piece where we're going to be giving you Sam's and my own workout kind of breakdown tips, going into transitions, say like where you should have your rowing machine, where you should have the pull-up bar, why that makes a difference.
Yeah. Kind of what we did on the workouts, even if we were to repeat, what would we do differently?
Yeah,
That kind of
definitely.
stuff. How I'd set up the equipment to get the best out of it. Just kind of tips that you might not even think about if you're just you kind of just see the workout written down on paper and you go, I'll do that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the key thing about this is usually you might look at workout tips and you kind of take what you hear from them and try to interpret them yourself, while each week is going to be a live Q&A. So we'll give you all of our advice, we'll give you the PDF, and then we'll just open the floor for 30 minutes. So you can shoot out some questions or type in some questions and we'll be able to answer them, so you know when you're going to attempt the open, you're kind of as prepared as you possibly can be to get the best score you can.
Exactly. And even if you're too nervous to ask questions, you can maybe even ask us ahead of time so we can make sure we cover it, that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, so you'll be on our email list then just for the people in that camp. So if you do want to sign up anyway, it is on the head on Instagram in the link. It's the Chapter 2 Fitness Instagram.
It's on both our Instagrams
and
as
it's
well.
on our own Instagrams as well. So you can jump in there. It's €60 for the 6 weeks. And as we said, you're not necessarily missing week one because we're going to record it and we're going to send everything.
And you
over.
have it forever then as well. You have all the stuff you can apply to any competition you do.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like I always look for tips. So
Yeah.
if I had to pay the 60 quid and you weren't in this gym and you were doing it with like PD or Mickey or whatever, I think I'd jump on. Maybe I'd wear a disguise so you didn't know I was doing it.
Like the glasses and mustache thing.
Yeah, if I could pull back my old lockdown mustache, I think I'd pull that out and sneak myself on, because every little tip, like you do want to know what the guys are doing and how they're breaking it down.
Yeah.
Just to.
I think at any level you'll always be able to learn something new as well. So like even just by discussing between ourselves, we'll probably pick up new things between us, and then we'll be able to give it out to everyone.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of cool.
Throw out a few bad tips to send you off.
Yeah.
Throw out a few
Make sure
tips.
to do this thing. Make sure to tie your rope in a knot.
Yeah. Tie your rope in a knot. It's heavier, it spins faster.
Yeah.
Once
It's more
you trip the
aerodynamic.
whole way through, exactly. But yeah, Sam. So maybe we'll get into a little bit of kind of. I know people ask like, do you have any sponsors, or how did you get into CrossFit sponsors? I suppose how long were you doing CrossFit before you had any sponsors?
A good while. Like it's not just something you start doing CrossFit and then you have sponsors, because it's kind of an amateur sport in a sense, except for the very top level guys. Sponsors is kind of how you can subsidize some of your training anyway. I think most people, a lot of people have full-time jobs and fair play and stuff, but like that sounded bad.
Fair play.
But that sounded really bad. That sounded really ignorant. But if you like, a lot of people work in a gym or a coach, that kind of stuff. So you're close to the gym, you're pretty much in the gym. So between things, you can train and you can kind of make it a full-time thing that way.
Well, yeah, but if you're chasing your goals or my goals and you want to be at the highest level you can get to, I think you need to make your job the gym, because you need to be there all day. So it's very hard to, like, even just recovering, you need time to recover. It's pretty much just sleep.
Yeah.
So I'd say, I can only imagine it is hard to have like an office job all day and you're trying to do your double session before work and after work. That
Very
would be quite
intense.
tough.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
Isn't Pat Vellner like a chiropractor or a doctor or something, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think Brent Fikowski used to be an accountant, and he was like a
Mad.
full-time accountant doing CrossFit and stuff as
I
well.
just seen him just sitting in the office, just like yoked up behind the computer, just massive, just typing in these little numbers in the books.
Yeah.
I don't know
Quite a
how you
sight.
could do that though. Like because even the recovery, like you genuinely do. If you're doing 2 big sessions, you need time to like go home and like lie on the couch or sit down or have a little nap.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just eat and stuff. Like, yeah, it would be impressive because my brain would just not be thinking about work. It's be like falling asleep the whole
100%.
time.
Yeah, like today's my recovery day, and I had 2 big sessions yesterday. So I slept 10 hours last night. Like I was out of it.
Intense,
you know?
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how you'd be running a full-time job like that.
No, fair play, as I said.
Yeah. But yeah, the first time. Yeah, tell me first time
So
sponsors.
sponsor, I think, was when I qualified for regionals.
Nice.
At that stage, is kind of okay. There's a big stage. Back in the day, regionals was always streamed, and it was a really good stream, and it was kind of a lot of exposure and stuff, I guess. So sponsors would kind of get onto you and say, "Hey, like maybe wear this T-shirt," that kind of stuff. I didn't know anything about it at the time. I was just like, "Sure,
Yeah.
I'd wear the T-shirt."
Yeah. But so the first time I kind of even like thought of sponsors or saw them in a competition was when I was doing the Italian Throwdown. And I had it was my first competition abroad, I think, first or second competition abroad. And well, actually before that, let's go back a step. The night before. So you know the night before when you're trying to get all like prepared and get all your food ready and all of that stuff.
Your
so
bag packed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And usually competitions are out in the middle of nowhere, like in industrial state or something where they can rent like a big venue. So this one was in, anyway, some massive venue, but it was way outside. So there was no little village or little town, and everyone had driven there. So myself and Anna walked like at least like kind of 1 or 2 kilometers just to get our water and our food and say croissants for the morning and all that. And on the way back, I was like, I better take out some money. So I had my credit card and they had an ATM, but they had an ATM in like this little box room. And I think you had to be part of the bank to go into that one, like it was part of that bank. So basically I've been trying to put my card into the door, because you put your card into like a hotel key. You put your card in and then it allows you open the door and then you go into the actual ATM. So I've been trying it for ages out in the side of some motorway and couldn't get in. And then some man comes along and he obviously thought I was really sketchy because I'm just standing outside an ATM waiting for someone. But basically he beeps himself in. He's stuck in this little cubicle, gets his money and leaves. And when he opens the door, I'm like, okay, class, I can go in now. So I go in, the door closes behind me. And suddenly I'm stuck in this box because you need your card to get in and out. And obviously you're not meant to get in without a card. So one, I'm dealing with the stress of having a competition the next day. I have no food or water yet because I haven't got my money out. And I'm stuck in this little glass box with Anna just looking through the window. If she ever needed the time to escape, that was probably her time. Just be like, I'm going to leave you here. But yeah, but it was magnetized. So it was one of those, I know in school and studying all those magnetized doors, if you kind of push them hard enough, they like burst open.
Oh,
So
I think I know
I
what you
gave
mean,
it a
yeah.
few shoulder barges and burst the thing, and then a little alarm was going off. I looked like we had robbed the bank, so I legged it with no money. So wasn't ideal.
You're arrested next day at the competition.
Yeah,
big
yeah,
workout.
yeah, exactly.
There he is. Get him.
Stressed out. And one of my biggest fears is also being stuck in a lift. So now I'm stuck at like kind of basically a see-through lift. So that
Yeah.
wasn't ideal.
That's so, did they sponsor you?
This glass case of emotion.
Yeah.
I'm at a glass case of
Yeah, exactly. No, the sponsor story was meant to be. So I was in
That's
the...
a good story, though.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
shit on your
Do you,
story.
do you have any weird fears like that, Sam? While we're on the
Um,
topic of fears,
I remember when I got
elevator's
MRI.
a good one though. Elevator's a fairly solid fear. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
The MRI, I didn't think I was claustrophobic, but I had to do 2 MRIs back to back, and you're not allowed to move for like 50
Yeah.
minutes. I was in there. Or something.
Yeah.
I was just like in this thing, and the woman, like, you can barely, because it's really loud in there. You have
Yeah.
like earphones and stuff. And the woman called in, like, here through like PA thing. Was like, stop, because I was stuck in my back. She's like, stop swallowing, because I was like, the saliva. You know when you're in the dentist and they have the
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
to keep your saliva out your mouth. So I was like, try not to swallow. Trying like I was actually holding my breath for 50 minutes, and that just, I don't know if it was a fear, but it was just, I could relate to someone who had claustrophobia
Yeah, yeah.
after that, because
If
it
you
was,
had
it was
an
shit.
MRI coming up like next week, would you be stressing about it a bit then?
No, because I
Okay.
didn't. Now I know what it's like.
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, I never had one, so I was like, and it was like a back-to-back double one,
Okay, yeah.
and I was
fair.
like, just didn't expect it. I think.
Do you stress if you go to a tall building then?
I never get a lift ever.
You'll do like 40
Like
flights
Anna
of
will go on
stairs.
the lift and I'll do all the stairs. Ever.
So
Never get
what's
a
the
lift.
That's how
biggest
Jamie
building
got
you've
into
been on?
fitness.
Yeah, with the which?
What's the biggest building you've been to?
Oh,
that you go-
remember we were in Greece on some like cliff hotel, and firstly there was not a chance I was getting in that lift. It barely moved. I think some lad was standing outside the lift with a rope, like pulling it up and down. That's how slow the thing was. So yeah, I was just going up and down the stairs.
I
for
remember
hours,
you'd hate
like.
this. I remember I was in I was probably 10 who went on holidays to New York,
Yeah.
and there you go up the Rockefeller Center, and they have like, so you're in the lift and they're cramming people in, like it's like 10 15 people in, and you're like, I don't know what like weight this can support. You're only like 10, so you're like, what?
Yeah.
And then there's like a glass roof, so you look up, the roof is glass, and you can see you going up all the floors, and it's kind of freaky, especially on
Yeah.
the way down, because you're so high up, your ears start popping and stuff.
So wait, how high was it? Like?
It's like 80 stories up.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
CN Tower in Canada is the same. It's got this like super fast elevator. So you get in and they're like, okay, ready,
It's
this is
super
gonna feel
fast.
weird, and
Oh,
then
that's
it like
cool. You fly
it
up
like
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it like it like takes off. It's like that's what I imagine a
Your
Tesla
ears
is
popping
like.
all as well. Like it's,
Yeah,
it's
it's
intense.
crazy.
Well, if
But
it was a fast one, I'd like that.
Okay.
Because I literally go in the lift and like close my eyes and count to 10 seconds. Like I don't even watch. I don't like watching the numbers because you know when they tick and sometimes we'll skip a number.
Yeah.
And I'll be like what the hell just happened there?
Where did
Freaks me
floor
out,
6
like-
go?
Yeah. 100%. Never going to floor 6
Yeah.
if it's fucking missing. Like, you know what I mean?
So Jamie's not sponsored by elevators.
No,
No.
definitely not. Sam, serious question. Would you rather be in your MRI machine with 8 wasps or in a bath with
What
8
has this
jellyfish?
podcast turned into?
Wasps.
Really, yeah?
Yeah, jellyfish. That's actually freaky.
Jellyfish
It
are
is,
awful.
That's very freaky.
They're the worst. Yeah.
Like, I'd.
No.
Yeah, I'd do battle with the wasps for the jellyfish.
I
You
guess-
have that lady asking you to stop moving constantly as well. That would increase your stress levels.
Oh,
massively.
that would be torture. But yeah, anything over the jellyfish, I think.
Yeah. No, I've been
Lots of jellyfish, so gross.
I've been stung by jellyfish. It's hands down the worst like pain I've ever been in.
Fair.
Yeah. So no.
So we're
Very
13
fair.
minutes in and we haven't touched on sponsorship. So let's pull back to Italy. So basically, I'm in the 4th heat, right? And then I always would watch the first heat because they were just freaks. Like they were the top level. They were what I wanted to get to. And I remember first one was like a 400-meter run, and it was like four rounds of 400-meter runs with I think 2 rope climbs in between them. And for myself, when I was doing the event, I was just thinking, am I able to run 400 meters and then I'll deal with the rope? But like probably now, if you were attacking the workout, you'd be thinking like, how fast will I run it to attack it? So I remember my heat, like myself anyway, I was running just like a wild elephant, like just trying to get through around the track. While these lads, they were just powering through. But I remember one guy, he had so he was wearing his shirt off, was in Italy, but he had gotten all his sponsors with henna tattoos. So he had like Compex tattooed onto his chest. And I just thought that was absolutely epic. Like, it was pretty cool.
You're
Like,
like,
I've never done that myself, but it was just, he had Compex on his chest. He had like Xenios on his arm because there was like in Italian, like Xenius and that type of thing. But That's the first time I noticed sponsorships anyway in competition.
That's cool. I remember at regionals we had our numbers tattooed onto us, and I think it was one of the first times they had done it. So they were like, before events, they were like sponges and wet buckets, like the kids' tattoos you do yourself, and people were like, we need another number 6 for this guy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It was like a
they
like
came
a
off.
hospital ward back there, like, and it was just fake tattoos the whole time.
Didn't they come off like really easy? And it was
Very
like,
easily,
yeah.
especially when the first event was like a 40-minute of running, essentially,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like sweated off.
Because I think it is though.
Got your
Sweat
socks
is meant to
sticky.
be the main thing that gets rid of like henna tattoos. It's like the saltiness in your sweat.
Exactly.
Just looked like he was crying, just mascara,
Yeah.
tattoos just running down him in the
Yeah.
middle of an
Whole
event.
body.
Yeah. That's pain.
So that was so you saw the guy with the tattoos.
Yeah, I saw the guy with the tattoos. But so the first time I got sponsors was after the French Throwdown. So I think when you get your first one, then that's when they kind of all compile in. It's not
Yeah.
like you have sponsors for ages. So I didn't get any sponsors until I won the French Throwdown in 2016. And after that event, basically, I just looked up all the guys that were, every vendor, because like the whole athlete village, all the vendors that were there, I was like, had a great time competing in this competition. And I just sent them out an email saying like, for the next season, I'm hoping to get to regionals. Will you back me or will you sponsor me? And at that stage, like, well, I think there's very little money in sponsorships anyway, but right then I was just looking for the support. So whether I could just thought it'd be really cool to have a t-shirt, which at the time Box Legion were supporting me. They were like my first big sponsor and they were really cool to get behind me. But yeah, sent an email to all of them. I think I got 6 replies, which was class. I went from 0 sponsors to 6. But it was little things like
class.
tape or t-shirts or
Yeah.
Compex being the big one. Actually, I'll tell you why it started. This is how it started. I was just before I'd done the French, I got to do that Icelandic camp with Mundi and Esslinger and Sarah Sigmund's daughter and all that stuff. And the reason I entered the French Throwdown was I was staying with Mundi and Esslinger, like staying in their apartment. And they both had these complexes and I hadn't had one before, like, and they were just sitting on the couch, like their whole body shaking. I was like, what the hell is that? They were saying it's recovery.
Sure.
Yeah. And Esslinger had won a complex the year before winning the French Throwdown. So, because he was like, oh, they're like €1,000 or €1,200, they're really expensive. And I was like, man, I really want to get one. He was like, enter the French Throwdown. If you win it, you'll get it. So I was like, that's class. That's
Pure
a great show.
motivation.
Yeah. So literally, I went home, I entered the French Throwdown, whatever, 6 months later, it comes around, and I actually happened to win it. And they're bringing me my prizes, and I'm like, this is cool. Like, gave me some pretty cool stuff. No complex. And I was like, are you joking? So I went home, and I named Esslinger in it. I was like, hey guys, this is a random one, but I just won the French Throwdown. I was staying with Esslinger a couple months ago, and he said he won a complex. Any chance I could get a complex, like really just chance on my arm. And they were like, well done, congratulations, would you like to come on board for a year? So
Wow.
that was
Very cool.
Yeah, and the other sponsors were like getting some tape, getting some t-shirts, but getting the complex was class. So
Very
that
cool.
was that's kind of how I got in. I think you need to be a little bit cheeky, like to just
Yeah.
try get in. It's not being cheeky, it's just backing yourself and hoping
Yeah.
that they'll back you. Like,
You need to be a bit cheeky or just chance your arm a little bit, but I think you also need to walk the walk.
yeah,
I know, like you can't just be. I've done CrossFit a month now, so I'm just going to email out. You know, you need to have been to some competitions, be active.
Yeah.
I think you need to be actively at competitions. You can't just not do much. You need to give the brand something that you like. It might be exposure. It might be going to competitions regularly, or just any competitions or
that's
something.
it.
you know?
And something to say that you've recently achieved, like whether you hit a podium or you went to regionals or you qualified for a certain amount of sanctionals last year, so they know that you're up in the top 60 in Europe or the top 30 in Europe or whatever it might be.
Yeah, exactly.
Has it been harder than like this year and last year with the lack of kind of competitions and stuff? One, to like kind of justify doing CrossFit full time, and then 2 with sponsors. Has that been affected, do you think, by the lack of competitions, or is it still kind of continued support?
Yes and no. I'd say for the majority of sponsors, yes. But strangely now, my current biggest sponsor got onto me during the lockdown. So that's
a bonus.
That is a bonus. Yeah. So I guess yes and no. I'd say most companies that would want to spread their, I guess, brand through live events would probably not get onto any new people.
Yeah,
But if they're big on social media stuff, then maybe if you're decent at social media, they might get onto you that way.
Okay. So it's less competition now and more kind of social marketing.
And I think
that
it
kind
might
of
be
stuff.
going that way anyway.
In general.
Which social marketing and being
Yeah.
like almost like influencer marketing.
You see a lot of athletes, and I use athletes with quotation marks, who are sponsored by brands.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, are you actually an athlete, or are you just good at posting online? Or,
Yeah, no, that's
you know,
true. Like I much prefer kind of for me, it probably not that it's affected my sponsors, but I probably haven't been in touch with them as much because I like post Instagram. I could post on Instagram like 5-6 days in a row, and then once every 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not as good at like staying consistent at it. So mine would usually be, if I can enter kind of 4 to 6 competitions a year, I'll map out my season. I'll send it to all the sponsors. I'm like, you guys happy to back me for this? And I'll say I'll wear your t-shirt in the first 2 events, your t-shirt in the next 2 events. So I have everything structured. And that allows me to have that structure rather than kind of doing more of the online Instagram, which I need to get better at. But yeah, definitely. I think for myself, just more staying in contact and keeping the really good relationship, it definitely has. But the second now the Open comes around, I'll definitely be saying to all the guys, all right, I've been training away, my head's been down, I've been training hard, I'm coming up for a big season, had a good season last year, let's do it. And then hopefully they'll follow through. And
I think it stands to the person to walk the walk.
Yeah.
You know. What?
There you go. Yeah. I don't know how much we actually talked about anything in that one, but
No, that was pretty good.
That was funny.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm happy. That was good.
Sweet. Well, we'll call it there, guys. I hope you learned a little
Something.
bit about sponsorship, but a lot about our fears of lifts anyway, that's for sure.
Yeah, if you didn't learn anything about sponsors, you now know Jamie hates lifts and Sam doesn't like MRIs, which are both
And I think
claustrophobic
we
style
both
things.
don't like jellyfish.
Yes.
That's
definitely.
that's a worldwide hate, I think. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know if anyone's liking jellyfish.
So
but-
weird. Like, what the hell is a jellyfish? It's
Yeah.
not the weirdest
And
looking thing.
their stingy things are much longer than their body. Like they're almost
Yeah.
invisible. They're tentacle.
They are,
things.
yeah.
Ugh, like it's
Yeah.
gross.
The Man of War
It's
one
weird.
has like the tentacles be like the length of your arm, and the head's just like the size of a cabbage or something like that. So
And they send you to hospital. If the Man of Wars get you,
Yeah.
you're
yeah,
screwed.
it put
My
me in, it
granddad
put me in
got
hospital.
stung by them, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got somewhere
in
in
hospital.
Sicily, put me in hospital. I couldn't move
Were
my
you
left
surfing
leg.
or?
No, I was just like on a family holiday. I was like 12.
No, I
I'm
was
like-
on land.
Yeah.
Someone threw one at me.
My brother shouted catch and I caught it.
Wait,
yeah,
you
no.
serious?
No, obviously not. What? No, I was swimming and I
Oh,
just
fair.
like got stung and then I was like, what is that? And then in hospital.
Well,
Awful.
so Medusa is the Spanish word for jellyfish. And
Yeah.
when we were younger, we learned that. So we'd always just, me and my brothers, we'd just go into the water. It's kind of like shouting shark. We'd just be like, Medusa, Medusa. And just watch everyone clear the water. But
Yeah, well, that's what we had to do. We had to do that up the beach because we were trying to find like the lifeguard or something, and we didn't know what was going on. So my dad like spoke with Italian or whatever, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's Medusa. So me and my brother just ran up the beach shouting that. And then the lifeguard finally came over and was like, all right, and we were like, my leg.
Okay,
But,
so you actually thought there
yeah,
that was
yeah.
that one.
Mad.
The hospital.
Yeah. So don't mess with jellyfish.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's been real chat.
That's a public service announcement by us. Avoid the jellyfish.
Thanks for listening, guys. Again, if you enjoyed it, please like and share.
Leave a review.
There you go. Yeah. Gotta get the review in there. Nice one. Cheers, boys.